Tonight, lopsided impact.
The longer those gasoline prices remain high, the more it continues to squeeze households.
The high cost of fuel burning up Canadian spending money. Plus, public pushback.
We need it, but not here. And another group of people, we need it, but not here.
A Woodstock YMCA to be transformed into a homeless support center.
Council's job is to pick a place.
And managing spread.
The risk to places outside endemic regions are very, very low.
The latest on Ebola virus precautions with health officials on alert.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with what could be a sign of economic trouble. New retail numbers show Canadians are spending more, but not because they have more money in their pocket. They're just paying higher prices for gas. And as Kamil Karamali reports, that leaves less available for other purchases.
The surge in retail sales, specifically in the fuel sector, is not being viewed as a good thing because it has less to do with an increase in spending and more to do with higher gas prices. Retail sales in March increased by nearly a full percent to more than $72 billion. It was largely driven by this massive bump, more than 12% month over month in sales rising at gas station and fuel vendors. But it's not that they sold more. In fact, the actual volume of gas sold was down nearly 2%. It's just that gas is now more expensive, so they're bringing in more money. To add to that, core retail sales were down slightly. Those are sectors outside of fuel, like food, personal care, and clothing. All of that was down 0.1%.
The problem for when we look more under the hood for retail sales is that the longer oil prices remain high, the longer those gasoline prices remain high, the more it continues to squeeze households and reducing their purchasing power. And that will start to be a big headwind on spending going forward.
So when people are spending more money on gas, they spend less money on other goods. A concern that this trend will continue when April's retail sales numbers come out. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Canadian auto union leaders are responding to their American counterparts in their demands for new free trade negotiations. With more on their priorities and how they compare, here's Michelle Molesky.
Wearing a Kill NAFTA T-shirt, UAW President Shawn Fain makes their view clear.
It's time we rip it up and start over.
The UAW is demanding domestic content requirements, improved labor rights for Mexican workers, and strong wage standards for all. If those demands can't be met, the UAW says America should walk away from free trade.
Free trade agreements have made, NAFTA in particular, has made these corporations extremely, extremely profitable, by exploiting communities, wrecking communities, exploiting workers, and driving a race to the bottom, while a handful at the top take everything.
The 45-minute briefing barely mentioned Canada, but speakers repeatedly referenced factory closures and job losses to Mexico.
They know Canada is not a problem.
Unifor Local 444 President James Stewart says both unions agree the deal has allowed too much work to move to Mexico, and the wage provisions laid out in the deal for Mexican workers aren't working.
Rather than pay the workers in Mexico $16 an hour, they'll keep paying them less money and pay the penalty that it costs them to ship the cars to the U.S. because that's cheaper than paying the wages.
Unifor would also like that changed, and they would like to see more domestic content requirements. Stewart says, however, their biggest demand is zero trade tariffs.
Each country deserves their fair share of product based on our relationships.
The U.S. and Mexico are reportedly starting CUSMA talks on Monday. Canada isn't part of those discussions, but we won't have to wait long to find out what the future holds.
We're going to know on June the 1st when USTR Ambassador Jameson Greer goes to Congress and says, hey, this is what we intend to do.
Volpe says then each country has until July 1st to state its intentions.
Say, we're in, no changes, or we want to make some changes and there's a review process, or we want out. And that means we start a 6-month clock.
Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. As we head into the night, clouds starting to roll in. Our temperature sitting at 17 degrees, and it feels slightly cooler than that. The winds have been gusting out of the east throughout the day today, between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, all in advance of a weather maker that is slowly making its way through. By this time tomorrow, we'll be under lots of rainfall, and that is all a part of the frontal boundaries associated with this low pressure system. You can see it's packing a lot of moisture, and there are some embedded thunderstorms as well. Saturday appears to be a bit of a washout, but there is hope in the horizon for Sunday and next week. I'll tell you all about it still ahead. Back to you, Carlyle.
Thanks, Rita. Lambton Shores fire crews are on the scene of a large fire at the Rona store in Grand Bend. The commercial building is near Lake Road and Ontario Street South. Residents in the nearby subdivision have been told to close their windows and shelter in place. At this point, there's no word on what started the fire or how extensive the damage is. London fire investigators are looking into a fire from this morning in the Soho neighborhood. Video obtained by CTV News shows the firefighters in action. They say it happened early this morning and there are no injuries to report. The cause of that fire is also undetermined at this point. Southdale Road was shut down this afternoon because of a two-vehicle crash. It happened near Southdale and Delaney Drive. Emergency responders at the scene were not able to provide information on any potential injuries. Lambton OPP say they're still looking for a person missing on Lake Huron. This goes back to Monday when police reported 5 people had fallen off a raft at Pinery Provincial Park near Grand Bend. Police say 2 of those people made it back to shore safely. 2 others got back on the raft, but a 5th person is still unaccounted for. No other details on their search efforts have been provided. Pushback in Woodstock today after an Oxford County Council decision to turn a former YMCA into a homelessness support center. As Brian Bicknell reports, it was a decision made behind closed doors.
This former YMCA building on Dundas Street in Woodstock is about to be transformed into a homelessness support center.
I call blindsided everybody.
Travis Tews lives directly behind the former Y and says he's upset neighbors were never given the opportunity to provide input.
The grocery carts and everything else that get pushed around. When you see these carts, you see stuff laying on the ground everywhere. There could be needles and stuff. When I go to rake my leaves, I have neighbors with very young kids directly beside me. They're going to step outside. They're going to see the same thing.
Earlier this week, Oxford County announced council approved the building purchase in a closed-door decision last month. Councillor Deb Tate concedes she voted in favor of the property purchase, but became upset when she found out later the transaction would not be considered in open session.
Realizing nobody knew and they weren't going to tell the public, I was like, you can't do business like this. You have to tell people what's going on. So that's my issue. And trust me, I am fully supportive of a new location for the shelter because we know we need one.
The purchase price is $4.55 million. Tate says with renovations, it will go up to $8 million. She says there are no details on expected capacity or who's going to operate the site.
By going into closed session to consider the purchase of property, we've saved taxpayers $580,000 by getting it for less than what we were prepared to pay.
Warden Marcus Ryan saying the county does not negotiate property acquisitions in public. He says he would expect opposition no matter where the site is built.
We need this, but not here. And another group of people, we need it, but not here. And another group of people, we need it, but not here. Council's job is to pick a place. We cannot continuously chase, where is it going to go and find a place that everybody's going to love because it's not going to happen.
The sale is set to close at the end of this month with an opening for the Homelessness Support Center in 2028.
No one in the neighborhood has heard anything about this, and we should have.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
City officials in St. Thomas are working on a potential vacant buildings bylaw. They say it's about ensuring empty structures don't turn into death traps. With more, here's Jerry Dewan.
This was the scene in April of last year as a long-vacant St. Thomas warehouse went up in flames, pouring black smoke into the air. Fire officials couldn't be sure if there was anyone inside or if the contents posed a danger. The incident became the catalyst for a new bylaw.
That was, of course, a long-standing vacant building that we had known was going to be a problem for a long, long time. It was just kind of that thing that said, yeah, this is something we need to do now.
Destin and Fire Chief Dave Gregory went before City Council to lay out the path to the vacant buildings bylaw and the reasons for it.
We always use, the 3 o'clock in the morning incident. When we get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, going to a vacant building, what are we getting into? What hazards are in there?
The bylaw is being developed with the help of city staff with an eye to being able to improve property standards enforcement as well. Owners would be required to be part of a registry identifying how the building is being used and report any use changes. There would also be financial penalties when a building stays vacant for an extended period of time.
Making sure that absentee landlords know that St. Thomas is a place where we actually do care about our heritage, our built heritage.
Let's make room for something and make it so that the owner, it's not quite so valuable for the owner to hold on to it for 10 years and let it sit.
Destin says the primary concern is safety for first responders and any occupants in a building.
If you don't know who's in there, then you have to assume that there's somebody in there. If we know we were in there last week and it's still boarded up perfectly, then we can safely assume that there's nobody in there.
The fire department and city staff are reviewing vacant property bylaws from other municipalities to help them craft a bylaw that works best for St. Thomas. In St. Thomas, Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
The Thames Valley District School Board has announced a new CEO. Kevin Auckland will assume the position on July 1st. He'll replace interim education director Bill Tucker, who is retiring next month. Auckland is currently the senior superintendent of program and learning services for the Thames Valley Board, which remains under provincial supervision over concerns of financial mismanagement. Tomorrow marks the one-year anniversary of a fatal crash near Thorndale that killed 4 teenagers and their softball coach. One of those players was Cadence Ford. With more on how her family and friends have honored her memory, here's Scott Miller.
Cadence Ford was a passionate and determined teenager.
She's probably best known for screaming at her teammates to just keep going and stay positive, and having her music blasting in her speaker while she danced down the hall.
Ford was one of 4 teens killed alongside their coach while driving home from a school softball tournament in Dorchester last May. Saturday marks 1 year since the accident. Cadence's family, with her many jerseys displayed proudly behind them outside their Elmwood home, have started the Cadence Ford Athletic and Trades Foundation to try and carry on her legacy.
When she put herself into sports and trades, we saw her flourish. Like, she was the happiest she'd ever been. And so we want to make sure that all students have those opportunities.
Cadence's foundation is very hands-on, offering grief counseling and life coaching for teens, filling a 250-item wish list, everything from wrenches to team jerseys for 14 schools in Grey Bruce, and starting Blueprints to Burnouts, where 3 high school shop programs get to maintain and fine-tune a donated race car. Walkerton District Community School's number 22 car, an ode to Cadence, won the inaugural race 2 weeks ago. That's not to mention a student shed where kids in need can simply ask for donated work boots or cleats for their sport or trade.
So if students want to try out for a team, or they want to go and do a co-op but they can't afford a certain sports item or work boots or something, then they come see us and we make sure that they have them.
Cadence's mother is also advocating for an end to teachers having to drive athletes and students to some sports or outside of school activities.
We want to see kids on buses. Coaches and teachers shouldn't be driving kids to their sports things. So we want to see kids on buses. We want to see some policies changed. We want to see the government put money where it needs to be.
Ford says Cadence was working towards becoming an electrician. She says the carpentry class at Cadence's school was actually building a shed for her to wire in the weeks before the accident. Sadly, Cadence never got to finish it, but her memory will live on through her family, friends, and the Cadence Ford Athletic and Trades Foundation.
We wanted her memory and her name and her spirit to be remembered. So what better way to do it than do it with her passions?
In Elmwood, Scott Miller, CTV News.
London City Councillor Elizabeth Pelosa says she recently went through a life-threatening hospitalization in the middle of her cancer battle. She tells us it was an experience that tested her perseverance in this latest installment of Healing in the Public Eye.
Well enough now today to do a public update and catch everybody up. I ended up coming down with pneumonia and then a secondary infection, and my family doctor said it was sepsis, and ended up being hospitalized for a week. Pain management wise has not been a good couple days. Knew I wasn't feeling well I think we started to see that I was losing my voice and just the coughing and fatigue set in. It was obviously escalating very quickly.
Halfway through chemotherapy treatments, and unfortunately celebrating that accomplishment in Emerge.
Luckily, my son could drive me to Emerge. At that point, they instantly admitted me and started IV antibiotics.
My doctor asked if I had ever received a blood transfusion.
You always hope that your kids, as you've raised them, will step up when it's time. I'm sure he was terrified as well, as you're trying to put on a brave face for your kid of like, it's okay. As your body is like, I think we're dying. It was absolutely terrifying. Luckily, he drives.
You had to discontinue for a short time your chemo treatment.
For me, this is dose-dense treatment for cancer because the cancer could potentially be aggressive. They took out the tumors, all that's gone, but you're always worried about free-floating cells somewhere in your body hiding. And they're on an every other week schedule to make sure that they find it, they kill it. And then just in the back of my mind, knowing every delay is potentially making it less effective.
How did you deal with that?
If we're honest, crying in the shower, I think muffles things a little bit because I do have the children at home. Regardless of their age, they're still your kids and you're still their parent. And just taking that time to emotionally process it and that it's wherever you're at, it's okay. Hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. It might not be, but eventually you will hit the low in the valley and things will improve. I was able to start chemo treatment again last Friday, which was great. So now that's 5 of 8 rounds done.
When we come back, putting Alberta's sovereignty to the people. Reaction from Ottawa with a referendum now officially on the calendar. Plus an evolving response, the latest on precautions here and abroad managing the spread of Ebola.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Political leaders across the country responded today after Alberta's premier called a referendum last night on whether or not her province should remain a part of Canada. With more on the fallout from Ottawa, here's Rachel Aiello.
Facing the prospect of Albertans voting to separate from Canada. Today, the Prime Minister said the country, much like the Parliament Hill renovations he toured, is a work in progress.
Canada's working. We're working in a spirit of cooperative federalism to make the country better. We're renovating the country as we go, and Alberta being at the center of that is essential.
The question Albertans will be asked on October 19th is a wordy one. Should Alberta remain a province of Canada? Or should the government of Alberta commence the legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding provincial referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada? Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre said he and his party will fight for a united country.
We're going to reach out to Albertans in every corner of the province to make the case for our wonderful country, and we're going to do it through hope. We want Albertans to understand that they can have an even better future in our country.
While Premier Danielle Smith has insisted she's committed to a united country, the NDP's sole Alberta MP accused her of stoking division.
She made a choice to put that referendum question on the ballot, and I think it's a huge, huge mistake. This is not what Albertans need right now.
The Premier of Canada's most populous province also didn't hold back.
I'd never do it. Premier Smith knows how I feel. She wants to, I guess, protect her 30% base. It's not going to win, as far as I'm concerned. It'd be a disaster for Alberta.
The federal opposition voices we heard from today said that while all sides need to fight for Alberta to stay, Ottawa also has to swiftly address Albertans' legitimate economic concerns beyond building a pipeline, because much like the center block renovations, that is going to take years to complete. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Enhanced screening is now in place at Canadian airports in the midst of an Ebola outbreak. World Health Organization officials are warning about rising infections in Central Africa, but they say the global risk remains low. With more on the Canadian response, here's Heather Wright.
Passengers arriving at major ports of entry in Canada will now be asked about their travel history and any symptoms that could be related to Ebola, as the virus continues to spread rapidly in parts of Africa.
Our officers are designated as screening officers under the Quarantine Act and are well trained in the event that a traveler displays any symptoms of illness.
During a news conference this afternoon, Canada's top doctor gave an update on what she called a serious and evolving situation, including whether Canada will issue any travel restrictions on countries where the virus is circulating.
It's important that we look at how effective things like travel bans are. We need to be looking at whether or not there is any evidence that the outbreak is escaping the area that it's currently concentrated.
Dr. Joss Reimer says travel bans are ultimately a decision of cabinet. And while the Public Health Agency of Canada provides advice, Reimer would not say whether she would recommend any travel restrictions. Experts reiterate that the risk to Canadians remains low.
So I think for sure there's a heightened attention to the virus and its potential for spread through travel, but the risk to places outside endemic regions are very, very low.
On Monday, American officials suspended entry into the United States for 30 days for travelers without a U.S. passport who have recently been to the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda. That ban forced a Detroit-bound Air France flight to divert to Montreal because a passenger from the DRC boarded the plane in error.
They were assessed by a Public Health Agency of Canada quarantine officer, found not to have any symptoms, and have since returned to their point of origin.
A person in Ontario who returned from Ethiopia with symptoms consistent with a range of illnesses was tested for Ebola out of an abundance of caution. Those tests have come back negative, and health officials are asking any passengers returning from the affected regions to monitor their symptoms for at least 21 days. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And Rita Ismail is handling the forecast for us tonight. Rita, we're coming off that beautiful long weekend. It was summer, basically, is what it felt like. A much more spring-like weekend ahead of us here.
For sure. And then we had that down spurt on Tuesday, and it's been a bit of a
lot going on weather-wise.
100%. And we have more in store for Saturday. Unfortunately, the timing of this next system will dampen your outdoor plans tomorrow. Today, though, was a nice start to the day. We had a little bit of sunshine early on and then some hazy sun, overcast skies. Our forecast high was 19 degrees. We didn't quite reach that, although it is around seasonal. We were around 17 degrees today. Record high 31 in 1964. Now, as we head into the night, right now we're ranging anywhere between 15 here in London to about 19 along the shores of Lake Huron. The wind, a big issue for us this evening. It is continuing to gust out of the east, 30 to 50 kilometers per hour ahead of this big system that is carrying a good amount of moisture, and it will pull through tonight. Along the frontal boundaries, you can see we do have that widespread rainfall, and as it pushes further to the north and we dip into that moisture early in the morning, we will be dealing with some embedded thunderstorms. That's the areas in yellow between about 6 and noon. That's the highest probability for those thunderstorms, and the bulk of the moisture by 3 p.m. pushing out in and out of rainfall throughout Saturday evening as well, not really letting up tomorrow. And in behind that for Sunday morning, a bit of a break, but then there's another area of weakness that moves through Sunday afternoon, and that means some light showers possible Sunday into the evening. So overall, not a great weekend forecast, but we do have bright sunshine and lots of warmer temperatures heading our way next week. But tonight, again, cloud cover remaining in the double digits because, of course, as that system lifts, warmer air is in play. Periods of rainfall beginning around midnight, and then those winds continuing out of the east, so it'll feel damp and, of course, cooler tomorrow as those winds gust and that rain moves in throughout the morning. There is that chance of the storms early on as well, 13 degrees and then dropping to 12 as our daytime high tomorrow, sitting well below seasonal for your Saturday afternoon. Heading into Sunday, we do warm up a little bit, 21 degrees. That chance of rain is there in the afternoon, bit of a break in the morning. And then there's that sunshine we're promising you Monday through to Friday, either a mix of sun and cloud to mainly sunny conditions. The probability for rainfall next week is at this time on the lower end. Our temperatures are looking like summertime, 26 degrees on Wednesday. So a bit of a change heading our way next week, but we certainly have to wait to get there. Midwestern Ontario, 15. That's it for tomorrow. Again, strong gusty winds out of the east will have you feeling cool. And of course, that rainfall, an all-day event, exiting a little later for you Saturday, and then you are expecting a bit of clearing late day Sunday. Heading into Monday, 21 degrees, nice mix of sun and cloud, and then it's up from there, 25 degrees, middle of the work week. Lots of sunshine on Thursday, Carlyle. So by now we're used to this up and down, inconsistent weather forecast. So we'll take it, and no complaints here.
All right, Rita, thanks very much. Still ahead, not without restrictions, what to know about seasonal car wash passes and why they could get canceled on you.
Huge news out of Nashville this week. Nashville is going to be hosting the Super Bowl in 2030. We are hoping for a country music halftime show.
We're going to go over all of our ideas on the iHeartRadio Pure Country Countdown this weekend, Saturdays at 9, Sundays at 4.
Gas prices fell across the province today. Regular fuel was down about 9 cents a litre compared to yesterday, and industry analysts say the cost is expected to drop another 4 cents a litre tomorrow, which would bring prices down to about the $1.80 a litre range at most Ontario gas stations.
Markets are reacting, within a microsecond to any rumor or comment that's made by President Trump or comments regarding the potential for a ceasefire or a peace agreement. All this week we've been talking about, prices dropping as a result of what could be a clearing in the Strait of Hormuz someday. Now we've done this, and I'm counting it, 8 times. Where, the job owning, as they refer to it as, by the president or someone within the White House, has markets in a lather, believing everything's going to be fine, and suddenly we realize it isn't.
Diesel prices are also expected to drop 5 cents a litre tomorrow. A new ruling from the CRTC means digital streamers will soon have to pay more for Canadian content. That means online streamers like Netflix or Disney Plus will have to contribute 15% of their Canadian revenue to Canadian content, and that's an increase from 5%. Meanwhile, traditional broadcasters will see their amount lowered down to 25%. CRTC officials say the changes should amount to $2 billion in funding. However, some U.S. politicians are pushing back, saying the policies discriminate against American companies. A warning for anyone who buys a season pass for car washes. They come with rules. Some users in the Toronto area recently had their passes canceled. However, as Pat Foran reports, it turns out that was actually done in error.
If you like to keep a clean vehicle, Petro-Canada will sell you a season's pass that will let you use the car wash every day. Vacant of Newmarket bought a 180-day season car wash pass for $490.
Well, the way to keep our car nice and clean and, basically preventing rusting from the road salt in the wintertime.
The season's pass gets a lot of use at his house. There are 4 cars and trans family, but he says it's allowed under the pass's terms and conditions.
We use it within the family, the same household, same address, 4 cars, and there was nowhere in the term condition that you can only wash 1 car.
He still had 80 days left when his season's pass quit working.
They canceled my car because I use multiple devices for the same car wash.
We were halfway of the usage of the card when suddenly the card was suspended.
And Abdul Karimi of Thornhill also had her 90-day pass canceled that she paid $270 for. She said the pass was only on one smartphone. She and her husband took turns washing their cars each day.
I think it's very unfair because we didn't do anything wrong.
Petro-Canada says the pass is for 1 wash per day, but in its terms and conditions, it says the card can only be loaded onto 1 smartphone. Petro-Canada told CTV News, car wash season passes may only be downloaded to 1 device. Users found to be in violation were sent a cancellation email. However, after reviewing usage on these cards, we determined the season's passes were incorrectly flagged and have reinstated them. So both Tran and Abdul Karimi were given replacement car wash passes, which was great news for them.
Thank you, CTV. You've been very great.
You guys doing a great thing for consumers. Thank you so much for what you did.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
North American markets rose into positive territory today. In Toronto, the TSX gained 62 points. In New York, the Dow jumped ahead in 294. The Nasdaq added 51. The Canadian dollar lost 0.13 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell almost $20 an ounce. Oil gained 25 cents a barrel.
You say, yeah, you can walk out carrying a cruise missile, nobody even stop you.
Still ahead, organized crime infiltrating airports, how drug traffickers are using regular passenger luggage to smuggle narcotics. Welcome back. We've published a new episode of our interview series, Leading London. And this week, I'm joined by the CEO and Chief Librarian of London's Public Library, Michael Ciccone. Here's an excerpt from that conversation. What I'm hearing is that the branches are healthy right now.
They're healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's improvements that obviously still need to be made, but I think we've patched some holes. Sure. Let's put it that way, and then we can move forward from there.
Is there, I guess, a sense of trying to make sure there's a baseline for all branches to at least reach to make sure there isn't like a disparity from, say, the most modern to the one that's in need of the most work?
Yeah, I think there is that. Certainly, the Sherwood branch was. Beforehand, it was you walk down a long hallway to get to the branch. It was hard to find in a mall. It was hard to find. We just opened it up to the mall, and the mall was very supportive. They were really, I think they understood the value of having a public library in a mall, and it's just really just such a transformation, and we'd like to see that. And it wasn't, we didn't break the bank with it. It was just some structural changes, and it really has just made such a difference there. So we really want to, we've established that as sort of the goal for every branch. It will take a while to get there, obviously, but I think that there are branches, obviously, that need more help than others, and there might be strategic reasons to upgrade those branches first. That's what the strategic plan, the facilities master plan, is helping us address.
And I imagine the goal, of course, is to ensure that branches aren't closing because of these issues,
Absolutely,
right?
Yep.
Because at this point, are there any that are of that concern where that may be the case, but
no.
At this point,
not in that point on any of our branches. I think for the most part, they're all functional.
For my complete interview with Michael Ciccone, you can head to our website, ctvnewslondon.ca, and click on Leading London. London police say they're trying to identify two suspects in a pair of distraction thefts. According to police, a man and woman entered a store near Dundas and First on May 13th. They say they distracted an employee and then took some items. Police say about 90 minutes later, the pair did the same thing at a business near Dundas and Clarence. A new Liaison Strategies poll has found the Progressive Conservatives and Ontario Liberals are tied among decided and leaning voters. The numbers suggest if a provincial election were held today, the PCs and Liberals would each receive 37% of the vote. Meanwhile, the Ontario NDP came in at 20% support and the Greens at 4%. The survey also found cost of living is the top issue for voters. A majority of respondents said the cost of groceries and housing were causing the most financial stress. Federal public servants are raising new concerns ahead of their return to the office 5 days a week. Union leaders say asbestos has been exposed in several national defense buildings, a problem that could be made worse as remodeling gets underway. Dylan Dyson reports.
The comforts of safe drinking water, not something afforded to National Defence employees in downtown Ottawa.
Our members should never have to go into work and worry that their workplace could have an impact on their long-term health.
CTV News has obtained this photo showing a water fountain inside the National Defence headquarters building, covered by plastic sheets with a warning sign for asbestos. A source employed at the building said multiple water fountains on different floors were blocked off, with others advising employees to use bottled water.
It's not surprising that this would be on multiple floors. This is present in most of our buildings, unfortunately.
Asbestos was used in building materials before 1990 and has since been banned in Canada for causing cancer and lung diseases. Health Canada says there are no significant health risks if materials containing asbestos are left undisturbed, sealed behind walls or floorboards, or tightly bound in products that are in good condition. But the unions representing employees in the D&D headquarters building say removing it entirely will take years, meaning staff will have to work alongside it.
The employer has the responsibility to communicate those hazards. While putting up a sign might be adequate to meet the law, it doesn't do anything to alleviate the concerns of the occupants of the building.
CTV News reached out to D&D for comment on the asbestos situation, but did not receive a response.
What's really important, especially with this push to return federal public service workers into these workspaces with these mandates, is making sure that the employer is living up to their responsibilities.
And as federal government workers are mandated back to the office 4 days a week, there are concerns that remodeling offices to create more space will lead to more asbestos exposure.
I think that with bringing more people back to the office and having to repair, you are creating an increased hazard. Absolutely. It needs to be mitigated properly. And people need to know that they're safe before taking a residency in an office space.
It's more than, do I have a seat? Is it safe for me to go into work? Is the air clean? Is there mold? Are there pests?
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
Monday on CTV News, the inquest into the death of Drew Pearson getting underway. He died while in custody, jailed for a 2018 house fire. That's Monday on CTV News at 6.
Tonight's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer Peg Roth. A great close-up of adorable baby robins. Thanks so much for sharing. Clouds increase as we head into the night. The winds will continue to gust, picking up on Saturday as the low-pressure system moves in. Tomorrow, it will bring widespread showers throughout the day, not really letting up until late Saturday evening. And there is a chance for some rain on Sunday as well. But great news for next week. Sunshine returns with a nice big warm-up. Temperatures in the mid-20s.
A W5 investigation is exposing how passengers are unwittingly helping traffickers move massive quantities of drugs through Canadian airports. The investigation has found criminal organizations are infiltrating airport staff, exposing lax security measures. And for more on this, I'm joined by W5's Avery Haynes. Avery, there's a scheme at work here with bag tag switching, so tell us how that works.
So I'm going to explain to you exactly how this works. When you go to the airport, you check in your bag and this is put on it. And what we have uncovered is once your bag goes into the airport, into those areas that we don't go to as passengers, a corrupt employee who knows where the blind spots are in the security cameras will just unstick the tag and put your bag tag onto a bag of drugs. Then your bag gets put on the plane, probably without a tag, but maybe with a rush tag. And the drug bag also goes on the plane. And now that bag is associated with you. On the other end, there's a corrupt official or someone from the public who's involved in this scheme who picks up the bag of drugs. You go to the airport and pick up your bag and have no idea that your name has actually been used to smuggle drugs. What we've uncovered, though, is that 17 Canadians have been detained around the world in the last year because the drugs were intercepted along the way, and they were left having to explain why their bag tag was connected with drugs.
So, Avery, how can travelers protect themselves when they hand over their luggage?
So here's how you can protect yourself. When you're at the airport, make sure to take a photo or video of you with your bag and your tag, and preferably it being on a scale so that you can show the weight of your bag. You could also use an air tracker in your luggage, and some people are even stapling the bag tag to make sure that if someone tries to take it off, they wouldn't be able to put it on a bag of drugs.
All right, W5's one-hour special Traffic the Airport Conspiracy airs tomorrow at 7 p.m. on CTV, Crave, and W5's official YouTube channel. Thanks for being with us tonight, Avery.
Thank you.
The American Secretary of State says progress has been made toward a peace deal with Iran, but more work is needed.
I wouldn't exaggerate it. I wouldn't diminish it. There's more work to be done, but look, yeah, there's been some, and that's a good sign. I'm glad they said that. We're not there yet. I hope we get there. The president would prefer to do a good deal. But is you asked me if I'm optimistic. I don't characterize it as optimistic or pessimistic. We're going to respond based on the facts as we see them.
Marco Rubio says the Americans' core concern remains preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon. He also says the future of the Iranian uranium enrichment program needs to be discussed, as well as reopening the Strait of Hormuz. If there's no cooperation from Iran, he says President Trump has made it clear there are other options. Meanwhile, President Trump says he's sending 5,000 troops to Poland.
It has nothing to do with what happened over a couple of weeks ago when they announced the number of 5,000 with regard then to Germany. That's totally separate from it. But I cannot say too much because it is highly classified.
Just a few weeks ago, Trump had ordered the same number of forces out of Europe. He seemingly changed his mind after weeks of statements from the White House about reducing the American military footprint in Europe, which led to allies wondering what forces they might have to call on to backfill on NATO's eastern flank with Russia and Ukraine. Stephen Colbert signed off from The Late Show for one final time last night, concluding the show's 33-year run.
I'll say to you what I've said to every audience for the last 11 years, and I have meant it every time. Have a good show. Thanks for being here. And let's do it, y'all.
Last summer, CBS announced the show would be ending. Executives cited financial reasons, but that's been widely criticized. Many believe political pressure played a role, as Colbert has been a vocal opponent of President Trump. Paul McCartney was Colbert's final guest, wrapping up the episode with a musical performance where the Beatles made their U.S. debut on The Ed Sullivan Show back in 1964. The oldest bridge in Paris has been transformed into a giant inflatable cave. It's part art installation, part tribute to the landmark's history. With more, here's CNN's Jeremy Roth.
The oldest bridge in Paris is a work of art unto itself, but it took on a whole new persona when it was transformed by an artist nearly overnight into a giant inflatable cave. The surreal art installation that has enveloped the famous Pont Neuf is the latest work by renowned French street artist JR, and is the result of plenty of planning, sponsors, more than 400,000 square feet of fabric, and lots of air. The artist says the enveloping illusion is meant to pay homage not only to the quarries that provided the stony foundation of the bridge, but also to a similar famous installation in 1985 called Pont Neuf Wrapped. The new experience will be open to the walking public in June and will coincide with the famed Paris Fashion Week and World Music Day. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A developing story now from City Hall where.
Download the CTV News app.
I'm Sherry Flick, your host of Weekend Spotlight, Saturday mornings, 8 a.m., inviting you to join me this Saturday. Did you know we have an international test pilot school right here in London, and it's the only location in Canada? We're going to talk to them, as well as a patient ambassador at St. Joseph's Healthcare Foundation about the Dream Lottery, and the Dream Lottery organizers about some upcoming deadlines, and Highland Cinemas. That more at 8 a.m. Saturday.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, theater season is ramping up in Stratford again. The main festival brings in thousands each summer, but there's a smaller operation hoping to build their following this year as well. With more on the Here for Now theater season, here's Jeff Pickle.
Known for big plays and big production, over 100,000 people will flood Stratford this summer to take in a play.
Yeah, so we just finished rehearsal in the theater, and so we have everything set up backstage.
Across town, the tight-knit cast and crew at Here for Now Theater are offering up something very different.
We do exclusively one-act plays, and it's all new writing. So it's either world premieres or Canadian premieres, but it's all new plays.
Performing out of a much smaller space on St. Andrew Street in Stratford, Here for Now says it offers a more intimate theater experience.
And so whenever you come to see a show here, you're never very far away from the performance. You're literally a couple of feet away. You can hear every breath. And so as an actor, there's nowhere to hide. You know, you have to be alive in every moment because the audience is right there with you.
With limited space, the creativity extends to how they use the lobby.
And none of this is here. This is just the lobby. And then as soon as everyone is seated in the theater, all of us actors creep up from downstairs and set all of this up, and it becomes backstage through the show.
They say the small cast and crew and minimal production allow for greater artistic freedom and risk-taking.
You're required to use your imagination, and I think that's really different from if we had more budget. We could solve it with something that's really high spectacle, and in this way, everybody yeah, they need to connect to their imagination.
Here for Now is offering up 5 productions this year, including 4 world premieres and 1 Canadian premiere, including I Am an Island, debuting next Wednesday.
I'm an Island is about an island that's sinking into the sea, and only one person, the protagonist May, knows that everybody needs to move.
The season runs until the end of August, and the small but passionate troupe are hopeful for a big year.
It's a great way to be able to experience the city. You know, you can grab a show, you can go and have dinner, you can see a show at the festival and then come here. So it allows people to kind of have a more fulsome experience of Stratford.
Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Stratford.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a great weekend.